And now we're
I like
down.
that it loaded everything
Yeah,
up.
so and now 1, 2, 3. Let's go! And then you can see
We are in Detroit again. We've got some more parts to pick up. GM has been an amazing host. They really have been amazing to help share knowledge and share experiences.
Think of propulsion controls, lighting controls, all that body function we talked about that used to be distributed is now centralized here, along with automated driving controls in that software stack, as well as infotainment.
So EV1 is really where the story started. We actually are not able to, at that time, measure every single battery. So our battery software at that time is more of a guardrail style.
Yeah, one of the cool things you'll see later is the cold box. And when you bring a minus 30-degree car out and it's 70 degrees and humid, it'll flash freeze. And you've got to scrape all the ice off it, where I don't have to deal with any of that. I can test exactly what I want to make sure my BMS is integrating good with the battery, and that when I move to the vehicle, we won't have any issues there.
So right now, we've got a truck in the box. It's at minus 40 degrees. After you.
Oh!
Woo! Hey, there's...
Woo! Oh my goodness!
So what we do is we actually have heaters inside the truck to keep the windshield warm, because if you don't have these, it flash freezes over as soon as you drive out.
Oh yeah, immediately, right?
I will say the cracking and creaking from the chiller is a little disturbing.
Yeah, it'll run a defrost cycle in a few minutes, but okay. All right, I think we can hop in and get out of here.
You're still filming?
All right.
Wow, look at the...
So don't open the windows or open
We
the
do
windows?
open the windows.
Okay.
Oh, he opens the windows.
Oh, is there an EV or are we going to heaven? It's snowing. You're frozen to the ground.
Yeah.
Oh.
Seat heaters limited by cold battery.
Wow, my...
Yeah. So you see that side of the window froze over, but this one is
Yeah,
okay.
look up, guys, look up.
212. That
We're
feels
gonna
great.
take these off so I can
You
see.
froze over. So where are we? Are we going out to immediate drive, or where are we going from here?
We're gonna go take this over to the east-west straightaway, so Mike can actually show you some of our calibration activities in more depth.
Let's do it.
So once they give us the all clear to go over there, we can.
That felt great. It was like it was colder sitting down in the truck than it was just hanging out in there.
Oh, for sure.
So with these vehicles, they're not running production, validated software and calibrations or anything. And so sometimes, especially in the early days of like the early builds of the truck, that's a safety feature where, if it starts, accelerating out of control or something bad happens, we can hit that and it shuts everything down.
Thermals get hot. Anything that looks scary, it's
And
it's still reading minus 10 on the temperature.
It's cold.
so, they have a whole process where they validate, once you've validated all the safety features of the truck. So you can see we have, like a lot of the testing we do here in the cold boxes is for like our power limits. And so when the battery is really cold, the amount you can charge and discharge it gets compressed down.
So if you give it a little extra right now.
Yeah, if I floor it, that's as much as it has.
Wow. That's kind of slow compared to normal. So it's a mountain peak in Alaska.
Is it Mount
What?
Denali?
Probably.
Oh, it's got to be because we're in it's a Denali.
South
That's
Peak,
probably
yeah.
what it is.
Mount
but-
McKinley is what it would say these days. Look at that.
The Moose's Teeth.
Look at this. Look at this Hummer.
That is an absurd height one. Or is it just sitting at full height? Is that an off-road?
We're showing it's in the full extract mode. So
Is that
Michael
what
will
we're
explain
getting
that
into?
to you guys. Yeah, you guys are gonna get in that one.
Oh, can we go do some donuts?
After that really cool
It's up to Mike.
experience, Charlie takes us on over to the east-west test track where we're going to test out a 2026 Hummer truck. Now, this is the 3-motor ultimate, biggest spec, best Hummer you can get.
This truck is squatted off the ground.
doing it, and they cry
I can
and whine that the car's
crawl
gonna
under
take
comfortably.
it.
Especially because like.
And it has a very special feature. Watts to freedom.
All right, so we are no longer in the cold box, and we're in the other cold box that's just Michigan. And we're standing actually next to part of the mini test tracks here. I'm gonna reiterate, this is not a normal thing. Like, this is really special. So yes, thank you GM again for letting us come out. We're having fun restoring an electric car.
This
but
is also not a normal thing.
no. So Mike, what are you doing? Is she trying to attract other Hummers or what?
So now we're just trying to do an exposure of what the software can do with the vehicle and the hardware that we have. So right now we're displaying extract mode, which is the highest mode that the Hummers can go. It's speed limited to 12 miles an hour, so that's why we're starting in this mode. Right. And once we get in the vehicle, you'll see it lower, and then we'll display some of the more fun features, Watts to freedom, and then I'll go some calibration changes and show you how that impacts and how the customer can experience if we have not optimized calibration. So I'll show you some of that as well.
The Bolt, the Equinox, the Blazer, those are normal. This is
a show car.
It's all about, I've a big proponent of saying you have to have a fun electric car to make everyone really want one. The original Hummer wasn't a practical vehicle. It's all about ridiculous, fun, looking over the top, and I feel like a truck that's stock 2.5 feet off that's pretty over the top. So
yeah.
Let's go for some rides now.
All right. So how high are we off the ground?
So we are the highest mode, which I believe it's 18 inches.
So one thing I was wanting to bring up and talk some, all of my aftermarket tuning, the ICE world, like a whole lot. So you're saying we're going to intentionally make bad driving conditions.
Correct.
Something I'm hoping we can make a good tie-in is ICE vehicle. They put a big camshaft in it and they don't tune it right, and you have two cells where the data's too far off. And you only fill in so many spots, and eventually the computer bridges that gap, and when those cells are too far off, it lurches and surges. And it sounds like you're going to intentionally make the truck do some of that.
Intentionally make you. So I'm a propulsion calibration, and my specialty area is the what we call VCC, voltage and current control. So I'm responsible for ensuring that the vehicle, what we call the actuators or the motors, are not violating the current limits of the battery. Like the Vicom folks that you guys already met, they send us what the battery limits are, current, voltage, and power. And my area of calibration is responsible for ensuring that the whole propulsion system is constrained to those limits, so we don't exceed them.
So how many variables are you calibrating?
Oh, I have 2,800 calibrations for my area. So we'll show some of that now. The vehicle is set up in normal mode, and we'll get going here. I'll stop on the straightaway, and I'll kind of go through the variables that I'm displaying here, so you guys can keep an eye on what I'm gonna go try and show.
What's fun is this is very similar to like the graphic display, obviously different, but so similar to software like I used when we would hack hack the OE levels. The fact that you have 2,800, when they start cracking it for us, we get access to like 6 tables, and there always is. There's 15 tables deep that are controlling the top,
and that's only my calibrations. We have 8 more calibrators for propulsion. So this bottom display here is showing the current limits of the battery, and in blue it's the actual current that we're using, so you'll see that move around. This top one here, that shows the power limits, and the orange will be the actual power that we're using. This one here with the red is showing the vehicle top speed limit, and in yellow it's the actual vehicle speed. And up here, just in blue on its own, it's what we're delivering torque-wise to the wheels. So combined front axle and rear axle, right?
So that I know they rated this with hub torque, which was unusual, of like, what, 13,000 foot. So what number is that going to? It's not going to be 30.
So I'm intentionally not showing numbers here.
Okay.
As you see.
But
you'll be able to see the difference in normal mode and Watts to freedom, and that's what I wanted to display here. Also, this bar here, it's the axle torque at the wheels, so both axles combined. And you'd see when we're in normal mode, we're not filling that gauge. As soon as we go into Watts to freedom, you'll be able to look at that gauge and see it go all the way up. Here on the left side, I have the front axle angle for the steering and the rear axle angle.
That's for king crab.
Yep, and then you see here the vehicle height. So left corner, right corners, front and back. And this little icon here, you'd see it once we arm Watts to Freedom, that will turn green, meaning the software in the vehicle has configured the vehicle properly for a Watts to Freedom launch, which means the suspension is in the right position, the vehicle control, the vehicle cockpit unit will be coaching the driver to say, hey, do this and do that in order for getting into Watts to Freedom. And then the propulsion system gets set up as well to deliver the maximum amount of power and torque to the wheels.
Yeah, because the little bit we did on the street, like it showed the ready, and then it never really did the brake, because again, we were on the street.
Yeah. No, we'll get to see it.
Judging by the tire marks, I feel like this is a spot that...
Yeah, it gets done a lot here. So what I'll do here, I'll just keep the vehicle in normal mode, so the vehicle's not configured for delivering the maximum amount of torque, and you'll feel the pitch of the vehicle because the suspension also is not ready, right? So we're trying to show showcase the integration between all the controllers for the vehicle for properly setting it up for Watts to Freedom or whatever mode you're setting up. So now I'm gonna count to 3 and I'm just gonna step on it, normal mode, and you'll feel the nose pitch up and you'll see the front height here start racing.
So, all right, let's do it.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Max is out the front there.
Look at the curves.
Yeah. So then you see how torque rises and current rises, right? And now what we're doing, it's an OPD high. I'm not touching the pedals, right?
Yep.
And
All
the
regen
vehicle.
right
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Boom.
It's so that was
the highest regen possible.
Yep, that was the most deceleration in OPD high. So we'll loop around and we'll do the Watts to Freedom over there, so you guys can
external
record
camera,
it. Yep.
yeah.
And then we'll keep going here. And as you see the power and the current here, my areas is responsible for. I never want to see that blue line cross here or here, right? That's what the battery system folks are telling us. This is what the battery is capable in these conditions. The constrain the propulsion system to those limits so we don't exceed them.
So you go out hills everywhere, doing everything you can.
And what you saw on the out of the cold box, it's like one of the major areas for us because we can simulate a cold battery, which is super limited, right? And this motors in the BT1s, in the trucks in particular, are so capable that we gotta make sure that even when the battery is very limited, that we are constraining the propulsion system to those limits. And we have an area that's called reduced propulsion. That's for when the vehicle it's in a limited state for cold battery, low SOC, where the propulsion system has to display to the driver, hey, your propulsion system is limited, and then we will give them a reason, like the battery's cold or your low SOC, right? So that's also part of my areas of calibration.
You guys hiring drivers for out here?
We're always looking for good calibrators.
This is the playground for every automotive junkie.
Yep.
Oh, look, I see more tire marks.
Yeah, you see after the curve and not straightaway, that's when we start doing it. So I'm gonna switch to the other screen, so that one's not film friendly.
What's this software program?
This is called Inca. It's developed by the folks at ETAS. Inca, in this particular setup that we have with this truck, we are connected straight to the controllers for the motors and for the battery. So that's what this Ethernet cable is here, right? So we're doing it via Ethernet. So we can get into the controller and live change calibrations, right? So that's like how we use this tool. For the propulsion system in this truck, we have 3 motors, so we have 3 propulsion controllers that we connect to, plus the battery control or the VICM, which is how we internally call it. All right.
The live tuning is so great because so many of the aftermarket world, we have to monitor track, look at log, make a change, flash.
Correct. Yeah, and that's actually one of the reasons why I like calibration so much and I'm so passionate about it, because I used to work in the hardware side, and when you make a change in the hardware side, you have to wait until the supplier creates that part gets to a vehicle. Here, you're the last line between the customer, right? So you come out here and you change something, and 2 seconds later, you can try it out and you feel what the impact that you're having on the drive quality for that customer is, which is, it's fantastic if you like calibrating. All right. So
that table, it's so familiar to everything.
So this is one of the smaller tables. So what I'm gonna do with this table is simulate a battery limit, simulate that like the battery's cold, right? So I'm just changing the current limit of the battery. So now I'm simulating that the battery is at 0 degrees C, right? So the propulsion system now has tighter limits that we need to control to.
Just watching that whole table drop down.
Correct.
Again, just tying it back to the ice, you guys can't see these tables, but if any of your aftermarket, it's just different numbers doing different things, but it's the same.
Correct. Yep.
With a whole lot more control than we get in our...
Yeah, absolutely. So now what I'm gonna display is still keep the battery limited in the region side, but I'm gonna intentionally make the voltage and current control cals not optimized. So you feel the difference between an optimized calibration from the propulsion side for a tight battery limit and a non-optimized one. So I'll do
this
the
is
same.
Bad calibration.
Yes. So now I'm still OPD high, right? And then I'm gonna tip out. You see how I'm OPD high, I'm fully tipped out, but we're not at the same deceleration rate.
And that's because
there's no torque, we're just coasting.
Because the propulsion system is not coordinating properly with the brake system, saying, I don't have enough region, fill the rest with the friction. So that's bad coordination between the propulsion and the EVCM, which is what I was trying to display before. It's like we're all so integrated with our software that we make it seamless, and now you should start seeing. Did you guys feel that shake?
Yeah.
So that shake is the control system trying to limit to that current limit, but it's not doing a very good job, right? So we're trying to hunt that limit, but that's a not optimized calibration.
Oh my God. That happened in every 90s EV I ever drove.
Yeah, so that's kind of a quick rundown of a calibration example that actually makes an impact, and once it's optimized, right, it's all seamless to the drive quality of the vehicle, but the software integration behind it all, it's doing a lot of major lifting for all the scenarios. This is just one scenario with a...
So how many variables would go into that for the brakes? Like,
oh, that's a whole set of... Yeah, that's... Yeah, that's... Every controller has thousands and thousands of calibrations. It's what we call them.
Wow.
So now I'll put the vehicle back into the right mode, and then we'll do the launch. We'll set it up for a Watts to Freedom launch. So you'll be able to tell that the nose is not pitching as much, and we're gonna be much faster. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna configure the vehicle to go into Watts to Freedom mode. You'd see the suspension start lowering. We're gonna see the VCU.
It's such a cool display.
The virtual cockpit, right? And then we'll see the coaching for the brake and the accelerator pedal. So we'll go do like that. We'll say, let's go, and then you get the virtual cockpit
I love
unit.
the runway lights. And then then the lowering happens.
Yeah, and then you can see here how we are lowering.
The rear is already dropped all the way.
So we're lowering the corners.
You can hear it
the vehicle
too.
ready.
Yeah. See,
Heads back.
one of the things I love about the GM is like the synthetic sound. It's not trying to be a gasoline engine. It's just making. It's like this electric breathing thing.
Yep.
So
yeah. Now the coach is saying we're ready. So the suspension system is set up. Right now we still have this red, meaning the propulsion system is not in the arm state. But now I'm just gonna follow the coach, right? So hold the brake, and now it's telling me to floor it.
So we haven't watched the Freedom, Billy.
Yeah. So
because
now
I've not done that yet.
So we're floor it, right? So now I'm gonna floor it, and now we're.
I like that it loaded everything up.
So and now 1, 2, 3.
Let's go!
So and then you can see how the torque raised there, right? And how our power got all the way to the limit.
We should do that one again.
We can.
For a 9,000-pound vehicle.
Correct.
It's so stupid.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. then you can see how the torque raised there, right?
Like I said, this is not a practical EV. This is a fun EV.
It makes you smile, right?
This is for your rich uncle.
That's what the Hummer is always meant to be.
But-
like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, but
you know?
and that showed like the whole configuration of the vehicle with the software integrated to put the vehicle in the correct mode for all the controllers together to be able to achieve that amount of power to the ground and that acceleration. So we'll do one more.
The battery guy's going, hey, you got a little bit more.
Okay. All right. You guys ready?
I love the
1,
load
2,
up.
3. And then you get the noise, right? So you get the whole experience with it, right?
That one felt faster in 2.8 because I looked over and you were at the limit almost of the track.
I mean, we do a lot of management and making sure we put all that torque to the ground. So yeah, it puts a smile on your face for sure, right? So that's so that's how all the calibrations come into play, and then you end up in this scenario where you're just making people laugh.
Oh, and that's the again, I won't say they don't handle well, because when I had the Trail Boss, which is the lifted Silverado, on my way home, I go through some very nice mountain roads that people drive from all around the world to go to North Carolina and Tennessee.
Yep.
And I'm in an electric truck bullying sports cars to let me pass. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like me on Highway 9.
Yeah. So now we'll go back to let's put it back in normal mode, and then we'll show king crab. So keep an eye on like the response of the vehicle to the steering, right? Like that's how we feel normally. And then we'll do the difference, and you can compare how much I'm moving the steering wheel versus how much rear steer we're getting, and you'll be able to feel that rear stepping out. So there's this dial here for the mode selector, and then king crab is this right side. So you just hit it.
You hold it.
And hold it.
That's how you do it.
And I'll tell you it's active.
King crab.
So now you'll be able to look at the steering wheel angle that I'm putting, but you'll be able to feel the rear stepping out way more. It's because it's more gain for the rear steer now. So I'm just gonna gain some speed and
Whoa.
right. So you get that rear end stepping out quite a bit more than normal. So now we'll get crab walk, right? Yep. So then now we just shift side to side, right? Yeah. And it's just a weird feeling, right?
Yeah.
When you're actually why am I go that way? It changes your perspective of what you're expecting from the steering wheel.
What, Billy, you want another Watch the Freedom launch?
Yes.
Yeah, let's
we
do
got
it.
it in us.
All right.
We got 73% battery. There's at least 40
We've
launches
only used
left.
2%. Yeah, we've only used 2%. For America.
1, 2, 3.
All right, that was a whole lot of fun, and I learned, Billy, we weren't at all in the proper launch mode yesterday.
That was the fastest launch I've ever done.
I've learned a bad button for my loaner. Mike, thank you. Charlie, thank you.
Thank you
Stay
very much.
warm.
Yes.
But yeah, we could stay here and play all day, but there's more things we have to do. And our chaperone, she's so mean. Cracking the whip. Jasmine's saying, we got to go. So we're off to some more really fun, exciting things because I've not been disappointed yet. So.
Let's go!
Now we're taken on over to the EMC laboratory. Now, for all of us that don't know what EMC stands for, it's the Electromagnetic Compatibility Vehicle Test Lab. It's a huge facility with an anechoic chamber that isolates not only sound waves, but all the electromagnetic waves. It's here that GM tests their vehicles for compliance to all of the regulations to make sure their cars aren't transmitting or receiving excessive electronic interference.
Well, all right, Billy, we are in another room. It's kind of scary looking. The sound is really weird. I don't think anyone can hear us scream, but we have a new friend. Where are we? Who are you? And what are we doing here?
Well, nice to meet you, gentlemen. I'm Paul Prinz. I'm the senior manager of the EMC Vehicle Test Laboratory. We are in one of our test chambers here, as you can see, with one of our setups. Here today, we're going to show you a lot of different things. Most importantly, the big thing that why we test here is for quality and safety for our customers. We put them first in everything that we do, and we make sure that we do our testing with enough rigor to ensure that all of our software and hardware work as intended. There is no false activations, no dropouts of any kind, and it's really just to protect our customers and give them what they expect for a GM product.
So for the people who have never heard of EMC, what does that mean?
Electromagnetic capability. In this chamber, we test for radiated emissions and radiated immunity. We make sure that everyone's kind of playing, we jokingly say, nice in the sandbox. So all electronic modules are not interfering with each other, and also that they can have immunity for any radio frequencies in the wild, so they don't have any unintended inadvertent actions or features that turn on and off.
So kind of like on electronics, you see the labels, FCC warnings and transmission things. It's making sure every component in there, one, is not violating those, and two, is impervious to any of the signals around. Your cell phone is not going to make your truck take off at full speed.
Absolutely, sir. That's part of our secret sauce on how we test here to ensure when we do certify and we make those labels that we're meeting all of those requirements worldwide, not just here in the United States, but every country of sale that we go to.
So we got a great looking Trail Boss. So what do we get to do, or how are we going to do it? I see a whole lot laid out. So
we kind of did the what and the why. I want to get more into the how, and I want to introduce our principal vehicle EMC engineer, Mike Manzik, and he's going to kind of deep dive with you on the how and the what in a little more detail.
All right.
Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
I see
Welcome.
a whole lot. So what do you got prepared for us?
As Paul mentioned, we test electromagnetic compatibility, and emissions versus immunity means that we're measuring the energy, the RF energy that comes off of the vehicle in emissions. And in immunity, we're presenting RF energy to the vehicle and making sure that it does what it's supposed to. Most of that goes through the air, hence all the fancy antenna systems that you see set up. And this is not how we normally test. We've given you the examples to show the wide range of frequencies that we test, all the way up to 6 gigahertz. The regulatory performance, the safety, and then the overall user performance of the vehicle is very key to us here. We're all in on EVs, which is why we've laid out this wide array of charging systems, from DC to AC to all of the portable cord sets. But the most important thing that we want to show you today is that the Trail Boss is going to the NACS architecture, which you probably know also as the Tesla charging stations.
Yep.
That gives us more compatibility and more interaction with the grid, so that you can have more charging range and more chances to charge.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's not just the hardware. We do have all that laid out for you. It's mainly software. And so that software integration is where we tie in your account information and your payment. So safe, secure, and reliable is great, but that's not really what makes people happy. New features are what make people happy. We know that we need more time to develop the software. So the way that we get there is by going to the component level. So the progression that you've seen from the Silverado EV all the way through our Bolt product, through Volt, our newest products that came out were Cadillac Escalade IQ, a beautiful vehicle. All of those need time to develop their software. And so if we have the component interaction settled, we know that we can build that integration of hardware and software together and then test them here. We also know that you have an S10 EV, and then the EV1, of course, the VIN212. Very happy to see that. The integration of the component level came just after those developments. And our global technical fellow for EMC, Don Sirely, is here, and I'm sure he can tell you more.
Nice to meet you, Don Sirely.
Hey, Don.
Nice to meet you, Jared. So your components, what is components?
So as Mike said, GM sells vehicles, so we have to test vehicles. But you can imagine that if you want to make sure that the wires that are hooked up to like a power steering module, right? Those wires are antennas. How do you exercise power steering if you're tied down to a dyno? So we have a whole suite of component testing that we do to try to make sure that component is solid before it ever gets to a car. Because the car should be proving that everything works, but we want to exercise it and make sure it works the way it's supposed to. For instance, like when we had EV1, I went out there and we had the new power electronics bay that was on the drive unit. It was a blind mate connection. We'd never done EMC to that realm before, but we had to worry about it because that vehicle had It was a plastic body or fiberglass body, and it had an onboard AM/FM antenna, and we had a lot of propulsion noise. So we learned a lot about shielding and everything else. So if you look at the flange on that EV1 on the power electronics bay, we have an RF gasket on it. We have an RF gasket on the blind mate. We had to put shielding around the resolvers, all because it was all new to us.
So that shield, that's the spring around the plug, that's an RF shield.
That's an RF, yeah, because again,
I thought it was some type like a gasket. But
no. It's just, we had to learn a lot because again, at that point, I think as Mike said, we really weren't in the component game, but finding things or testing things at the vehicle is way too late. You have to move everything to the left. You have to move it earlier and earlier. And EV1 was the first chance to do that. So we've since carried that same thing to everything we do. All the electronic modules are tested well before they get on the car, because that's the only way we can exercise them. We want to make sure that when you get these, if you touch a part in your car and you're statically charged, that it doesn't glitch. It should never do that. That's what our job is here. One of them includes electrostatics.
Yeah, and like components can be tested individually, but you're testing the interface between all of them now.
Well, the vehicle tested together. Yeah. RF generally affects the hardware. So if we exercise the hardware rigorously at the component level, you can put them together and they'll still play nice. Software does come into play, and more so with EVs. That's all the more reason why we have to make sure the software is good for the customer, because that's our backbone.
So EV1, obviously, you've worked a little bit with it. So
a little bit, yeah.
Every time we get a chance, Billy, ask your question.
Well, tell us your story. You know, did you drive the EV1? What was your?
I didn't drive the EV1 at that point. We worked on it, and we had a little front clip that we tested in the chambers. But I was relatively new to EMC at the time. I came to Milford in '84, but I remember going out to Torrance, and it's like, why are we doing an electric vehicle? And I'd never seen smog being in the Midwest. We went out to Torrance and we drove going to Torrance to the building. We'd always stop at Denny's and get a $2.95 breakfast. And it was just smog. You couldn't see anything. And you come out of the restaurant and I look up and there's a mountain. It's like, where did that come from? So now you really saw the need for an electric vehicle for that smog. You had to mitigate things. And EV1 was the first thing at trying to do that. And it did a great job. It was a fun vehicle.
So you would fly out there. Could you describe the team? What was the team like out there?
So that team is sort of what we have now with our in-house design. That team was really a go-fast team. It was no send it over the wall and have another group do it. You needed something done, you do it. They ran on a skeleton crew, but they accomplished a whole lot. I mean, we had lead acid, then we went to nickel metal hydride pack. You had brand new technology for the inverter, for the power electronics bay, never done before. And I was like, this is really impressive, and all done out of that one little small shop in Torrance. Just impressive as all get out.
Everyone we talk to, like, everyone feels so impassioned about it. It feels like still with GM that have a part of it or any of the EV1 stories. It's kind of neat, and it's fun to see how many paths. Some of the people went ICE for a while, but how many kind of found their way back into the electric sides of testing?
Everyone out there was always doing something. There was never anyone sitting there doing drawings. That just wasn't them. They were always manufacturing, fabbing, testing, building. It was really fun. It was a lot of energy. We flew out about every 6 weeks, and that team was just running.
Yeah. Well, they were really going 0 to 1, you know?
But it was, like I said, it was a brand new technology, never been done, and it was something I hadn't seen before. And we've since come back to all in on the EVs. It's the way to go. This Trail Boss is an amazing vehicle. The Hummer, just the way you can get that vehicle with that mass up to that speed and that performance. You know, it used to be you sit back and you want to feel that excitement when you accelerate and you get set back in your seat. These guys do it. It's fun. And that's what I love. Auto industry, like I said, I've been here 47 years, it's still fun.
Very cool.
So I could go on and on about this. Like I said, EMC and GM is fun, but there's other points you have to meet or deal with. Connectivity is one, and I think Paul's going to try to take you over to that chamber, maybe with Dan Merritt, to try to give you a feel for what's happening in that space.
Very cool.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
It's a little less exciting and scary. Like this is a cool looking, but also kind of scary room here.
It's just big antennas. It's wires. It's nothing more than wires. Every wire in the car is an antenna.
And a lot of foam.
Yeah.
Yes, foam. Yes.
And our next stop is another anechoic chamber. This is one where they work on some sound design. Billy and I are introduced to a pair of Equinoxes and a couple of sound engineers.
Well, the room's a little bit different. It's still kind of creepy, but we have new hosts. Who are you guys and what do you do here in the creepy room?
So, my name is Daniel Merritt. I am the audio performance manager here at General Motors.
My name is Travis Austin. I am the lead audio calibration and sound quality engineer for General Motors.
So today, we're going to have a short audio demo for you. Our team are responsible for confirming that we have a quality audio system in all of our General Motors products. Part of that is, number one, checking to make sure we have FM and SXM good reception, but also just for people that stream via Bluetooth or stream via the in-vehicle native apps, we also have a high quality sounding system for them as well. So our team is responsible for the in-vehicle audible notifications as well, where you get in your vehicle and you hear a seatbelt reminder. That is our team that sets those volumes. The rear seat, getting out of the vehicle, you want to make sure you're not leaving any precious cargo behind, right? So those notifications, those audible sounds come from our team. But the most exciting part of our team is when we get an opportunity to dive into entertainment audio, where we are setting the bass, we're setting the tone controls for treble and mid ranges. So those type of items is what people really get excited about within the team. We have our EVs here that we're going to showcase during the demo. For EVs, it's a little bit different. We have a very low volume noise floor in the vehicle, right? You don't have some of those background noises from ICE properties. So therefore, you end up with a very quiet cabin. And that means audio performance needs to be critically good for everybody to get a very good performance system. With that being said, we take the time to go out on our Milford Proving Grounds tracks, evaluate the sound systems while we're either static or actually on the road. In doing so, we come back with a high quality system for our customers. So if you decide to go with our branded system or one of our unbranded entry level systems, we still want to make sure we have a very high performing, engaging, exciting system that our customers can feel the music when they're listening to their favorite artists.
So we got two cars for you. Obviously, they're both our Equinox EVs. These are both equipped with our 6-speaker entry-level system. So there's really no difference between these cars, and it's actually kind of a spiritual successor to your EV1. I believe it's got a 4-speaker system in it. This is kind of what we intend to show you is kind of the evolution of the tuning that we have. So the black car over here, this is what we initially came up with, what we shipped to customers. And then as the software progressed and we were able to iterate on it, this gray car has the tuning that we were able to OTA to customers to refine what they were listening to, refine the quality.
Yeah, how long did it take for that OTA to come out? A couple months?
We had to wait for the software to mature. Obviously, you think about the radio in your EV1, it's kind of like a single set, kind of does one function kind of thing. So I think the cars launched in 24. It took us about 2 years to kind of get to the point where we could come in and refine the audio and deliver a better product.
So a whole lot more advanced in the early 90s where the radio just automatically got louder the faster you went. I know they still kind of do that a little bit, but there's nothing like the old system where it just gets really loud because you're going faster, just to make it sound quieter.
We have that feature, but it's not the same. It's implemented differently for sure.
Times have changed.
You know, I was always curious, you know, if I don't have my seatbelt on and I also have my blinker on, some chimes kind of are more important to hear, right? So like I won't hear the blinker chime in that case because I'm getting alerted about the seatbelt.
Correct.
And that's your team making those decisions? Or?
We make the volume decisions. We work alongside feature owners who maybe decide which one is more critical and which should be prioritized at the time. But as far as what the tone that you hear, the volume of that, we set those tones. And so if you get in your vehicle and you're like, oh wow, this is annoying, you can think of us.
Yeah. So the EV1's got some fun tones, right? We have the reverse tone and the pedestrian tone. But those actually don't come out of the speakers, they come out of the horns.
Oh.
Wow. It's new info.
Did not know that.
So what do you have first? So I guess we're going to go with the old first.
Yeah, we'll split up.
Yeah, same time. Maybe split up.
Cool.
Sure. Maybe Jared, you want to jump in with?
Yeah,
you get the good audio.
Well, we're going to switch.
We go switch. We go flop.
So hop in the driver's seat.
All right, so I'm going to jump in. We're going to have a quick listen and kind of talk about some of the tuning changes directly, because you hear one thing, it doesn't make a lot of sense. We're going to talk a little bit more about the science of audio and audio tuning. Oh, it's a little tall for me. Oh, There we go. I'm folding in. All right. So when you're saying, so this is the untuned old version.
This is the initial tune.
Yeah. So when you heard the improvements coming, what were the main audio frequencies that you found that you were working to improve on?
So through the feedback from our customers, we identified that the bass response was definitely an area that needed improvement, as well as the vocal clarity, imaging and staging, so where things appear in front of you. All those aspects could be improved. The system just wasn't really, it was good, but there was room for improvement. Right. So that's what we did. So we have a few tracks here that we're going to listen to that kind of emphasize or kind of highlight the changes we made. You're going to start in here. We'll listen to this car. In this car, it's going to sound okay. It's not going to probably blow you away. You're going to notice things like the bass is there, but it may not be as strong as you would like. A lot of people like to reach for the tone controls and turn them up. You'll notice the vocal clarity might be a little less natural sounding than you're used to, as well as the placement. So you might find the vocals kind of shift off to the sides a little bit more than usual.
Over there, it's a little flat, to be honest with you. So the way I've been trained to listen to our EQs is when you get into the vehicle, you want to make sure that the customer has the ability to go in and adjust how they want, right? Audio settings, we tune so that it sounds great with everything set to zero. So if you jump into a vehicle and you're like, oh, I need a little bit more bass, you can tap this up a couple notches, right? But our focus is making it sound good so you have enough range to play around with it, depending on what you like. If you like treble or bass.
When you guys came out with your update, did this UI change at all? Do you change anything there? Like
nope. All that stayed.
Never changed.
All that stayed the same.
Yeah.
What you'll notice though, when you go from that vehicle to this vehicle, is that if you bump the bass up in here, you're getting even more impact. You start to feel it. Versus over there, it was really flat. The treble.
You want to feel it.
Yeah, you want to feel the bass, right? Yeah. I think a lot of our customers, they line up having a good performance system with the bass that they feel, and if they can feel the clarity of the vocals, right? Yeah. And so I feel over here, you get that. When we jump into the other vehicle, you kind of feel like, yeah, maybe it's not there, right?
I need to get that in my Silverado work truck. Sometimes it's a little weak, the audio.
Yeah, I can agree. I've been assigned various vehicles, and you get to see what performs great, what's kind of lacking.
All right,
so
music.
Let's jump to it.
At this point, we're going to let you hear the originally tuned audio versus the retuned audio. But because of copyright issues, we're simply going to do our best to use some music to simulate the dramatic difference between the original audio tune-up and the new and improved tune for these cars.
It's a world of difference. Again, legitimately, the audio was muddy over there. The bass was happening.
It was fine.
It was adequate.
Yeah.
This is a nice audio experience.
Yes.
And that really it's the same hardware, like not fooling.
Not fooling. Exact same hardware. Literally, we could take this tuning and flash it into that car, and it would sound the same.
But then you lose your demo car.
We would,
All right. Confirm what he said. That is the same hardware.
That's the exact same hardware.
So, again, I don't have the money for the microphones to pick up that definition, but you would agree it was not a bad experience, but things were a little muffled. They were a little muddy.
That's your standard experience. You went to the dealership 2 years ago. That's what you got.
Yep.
But I got to say, you can feel the difference.
Yeah,
You
like
really
the
can.
impact. I was hearing like the full definition of the drum hits rather than just the noise. You heard the whole skin.
I know that, but you felt it,
Yeah. It went throughout, and the fact that it's just software, and you said that was a OTA.
Yes.
So what that OTA means is it's over the air. That means when you are at home and your car beams back to mothership, it says, "Hey, here's something way better for you. And it's like a enhanced continued ownership experience, which is kind of neat because a lot of places kind of charge for those upgrades.
That's it, yeah. Well, make it better for me, right? I already invested in this car. Keep making it better for me.
Yes.
So overnight, you basically jumped up almost to a Bose.
Almost. Your words, not mine.
No, that's the idea. Trying to improve the system for the customer.
I love the commitment to always making it better. Granted, it comes from a competitor, but Kaizen, continual improvement. The fact that we're seeing it actually played out is kind of cool.
Well, that's cool. It gives me a lot of inspiration. I hope to see a lot more cool software advancements like that can bring the current hardware forward.
Yep, that's the plan.
Sure. Well, again, thank you guys. This room really creeps me out. I'm going to try to find a less creepy room. It just still bugs me out a little bit.
What is the legacy of the EV1? Why does it still matter today?
To me, it represents America, but it's when you want to achieve a goal, you don't say why you can't do it. You get a group of like-minded people and you do it. And that's what we did with the EV1.